Ladies and gentlemen, and new Revolution Pro Wrestling Podcast champion, Marques White. And it feels so good. Welcome, as always, to the Revolution Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Marques White.
My name is former champion Nick Volley.
And this weekend was too sweet.
It was too sweet. But you know what? Let's go ahead and first start by Bleacher Report. What was that?
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you you fans out there were experiencing the same thing that we were if you were watching AEW Revolution live, but if you were just a little bit behind, maybe it could be as little as 30 seconds to a minute live. Cut! Yeah, the live stream just cut out. And then, thanks to technical support, we found out that it wouldn't be back up until 24 hours later.
Up to
minimum.
24 hours.
Minimum. So, Bleacher Report Live. Thanks for almost ruining what was one of the biggest nights in pro wrestling this year.
But then we decided to just say, you know what, screw it. We're going to pay double and purchase it on cable pay-per-view.
Yeah, just blowing cash.
Because, you know, both of us are just absolutely loaded, right?
Yeah, so, well, you know, the champ, you know, he's no, but seriously, that was almost, that almost ruined our night. It was very frustrating to deal with. We sat here for upwards of 45 minutes to an hour.
We had to stop our drinking game.
Yeah, we just sat here forever trying to get the stream back up, refreshing, going back in, restarting the computer. Nothing worked. And then finally, live support just goes, 24 hours for the stream to reload. All due to some dumb new policy they just implemented.
Yeah, so it's the easiest way for them to get the stream on the on-demand replay service quicker.
Yes.
Because then it's not on a live stream. They have to take it off the air for a certain period of time, up to, at the most, 24 to 36 hours.
Now, here's a solution, Bleacher Report. Instead of immediately just cutting the stream right as it ends, you could wait a couple hours, maybe, 3-4 hours at most, and then cut the stream. So those of us that are, a little behind don't have to wait a whole day to finish watching the pay-per-view.
Well, this is my issue with it. What if I paused it because instead of using a quote-unquote piss break match, I wanted to go to the bathroom and not miss a match? Exactly. Guess what? I'm screwed.
What if my friends are running late and I have to wait for them? What if you're, shooting a podcast before you start, like a lot of wrestling creators do? You're just screwed.
Yep.
So
we know to take the entire day off for the next pay-per-view.
Yep, and also probably, depending on, we'll talk about it, but we're probably just going to be purchasing through pay-per-view from now on.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah, I mean, the risk is a little too great, and I don't personally feel like giving my business to Bleacher Report anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so...
You guys are also the ones who screwed up that article about Bill Goldberg that he was reading about how he didn't have a security detail.
Yeah.
So, there you go, Bleacher Report. You can't get your live stream service right. You can't get your words right when it comes to Goldberg. Like, what are you doing?
But you know what?
You guys are more amateurs than us.
Yeah. So, enough about Bleacher Report. I just want to jump right into this because this was, without a doubt, the best pay-per-view of the year so far.
Yeah, so let's just be perfectly forward and honest with these guys. This is probably not going to be a spot-by-spot breakdown like you'll see for a lot of WWE pay-per-views. This was one of those pay-per-views that you sit back, you watch, you enjoy it. But we're going to talk about the ramifications. We're going to talk about what happened with some of these matches and the emotions that we all felt by the end of the night.
I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, if we're talking about so far, I mean, NXT and AEW have definitely just been hitting it out the park when it comes to their content. I mean, you had Worlds Collide, you had TakeOver, you had TakeOver Portland, now you've had AEW Revolution. So those three, top of the list so far.
We'll be getting TakeOver Dublin pretty soon.
Exactly. So while I'm not going to necessarily rank them right now.
I mean, I could.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know you could, but I'm definitely not going to rank them right now. But Revolution's definitely up near the top for me. It's definitely one of the best pay-per-views we've had so far. Definitely better than any main roster pay-per-view. Looking at you, Royal Rumble. So
I'm excited for WrestleMania to come around, like literally the week or two after Blood and Guts, and it's going to be.
You know why they named it Blood and Guts, right?
No.
Because reportedly, when AEW was talking about getting the War Games, not even talking about War Games, but just like when he was talking about AEW, and it was a Vince McMahon board meeting, and he was like, "Oh, we're like, I just hope like with this new company they don't like go full blood and guts or whatever."
Oh
so it's just a shot at Vince McMahon, especially since they can't get the War Games name. So while that is just probably going to be the name of the pay-per-view, still it's just a big middle finger to Vince and WWE. So you gotta love it, right?
And the match, all they're just going to say is, "This is war."
Yeah, that's all you need to say.
Yeah, it's a war match. I'm cool with that. That's fine.
So
cute little knockoff, especially because WWE's not even doing the cage right.
But let's just jump right into this. So. First thing I have here is that the stage, by the way, the stage was amazing. For
Original stages, I'm so happy.
Seriously, thank you. Thank you, AEW. For every pay-per-view has been different, which is fantastic. I love the incorporation of some things from the main. So, like, you still have the chandelier. That's cool.
You have, like, the idea of those little sidebars for the tunnels that they have, but it's actually the backside and the front side is a Titantron screen. It was awesome.
So, that's still cool. We're just going to jump right into it.
We get the video ramp.
We do get
the video ramp.
That is cool. And they did it right.
Yes,
it wasn't just like cringy like the one WWE normally has.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool looking. So kicking things off with SCU versus Dark Order, and this was on the pre-show.
Yeah.
So,
before the match, they have an interview with Christopher Daniels. Let me get his name right, because in the last video I said Frankie Kazarian like 6 different times when I meant Christopher Daniels. They're both bald, okay? Well, that's not fair. Kazarian has those little weird patches of hair that he needs to shave off.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how excited he is for them to beat the Dark Order, and Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian say, with everything that's been going on, we think it's best that you stay backstage tonight. And again, this is one of those things where we were talking about where it's like, this is too obvious.
Exactly.
This is so obvious that they're going for he's the Exalted One angle.
Mm-hmm. So, this match, it was alright. Like, I wasn't, like, super invested in the match, but you're not supposed to be mainly invested in the wrestling. You care about what happens after. And, so Dark Order picks up the victory, and then they immediately attack SCU, and then, Colt...
Boom, boom. Colt Cabana. Boom, boom.
Colt Cabana makes his debut in AEW.
And it is confirmed Colt Cabana has since signed with All Elite Wrestling. So excited to have the top comedy wrestler in the business, and genuinely one of the better indie wrestlers in the business, too, signed to AEW.
I think the only reason I'm really excited is because, if Colt Cabana's here, then maybe there's a slight chance CM Punk. Maybe I'm stretching there.
You're definitely stretching.
I just want CM Punk in AEW. I want CM Punk to wrestle, but it's probably not going to happen.
No
but so Colt Cabana comes out, and then he just kind of gets jumped because it's a numbers game, and then out comes Christopher, Daniels,
the Exalted One
as the Exalted One.
The Dark Order's music hits.
Which, by the way, production on this little part was a little goofy. Like, you had SCU's music hit, and then you had, like, the Dark Order music hit, and then everyone's just kind of confused. Like, Dark Order's like, should we, like, do the hand thing? Everyone's, like, confused. But then Daniels does come out as the Exalted One, and then he...
The Chancellor Palpatine looking robe.
Yeah, and everyone's like, is this the moment? And he stands on the ramp, and he rushes the ring,
points right at Evil Uno,
and attacks. So Daniels, not the Exalted One, does not turn heel. And then, as I said, the SCU music just kind of hits mid-attack. So that was a little weird. Production was definitely not the best on this pre-show.
Well, hey, maybe it's the same thing that that they do with everything else on the pre-show. They put some of the smaller talent on it. Hey, our lead producer's not coming in until 7, so Jimmy, you're our junior producer, right? You're in charge tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a little goofy. Didn't ruin the segment, but it just was kind of like, okay, cool. Then we get Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager. And my, Jake's got a dope theme.
Yeah, he's got a theme.
Yeah, that is...
make a posse!
Yeah, they are...
Jake Hager.
They're rolling with that, right? Which is why I am fully convinced it's going to be Painmaker Posse, not Inner Circle. They've got it in the theme song now. So...
Well, this is the other... Well, we'll get to it. We'll talk about it.
So, Jake Hager comes down. Dustin Rhodes comes on down. Got the face paint painted all the way up to the nose, so his eyes are still, regular.
And I hadn't noticed this, but somebody did point this out. It's actually inspired by Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. The black was the red makeup, and the red was the white makeup from the Joker, the bottom half.
Okay. And then we see, as Jake Hager's entering the ring, Dustin Rhodes takes off his hoodie, and underneath he has a t-shirt that says, "I'm here to fight Jericho's bitch." Wow.
This is after Jake Hager makes out with his wife at ringside.
Yes, so...
Thanks for that.
Infuriates Jake Hager, and these two go at it.
It wasn't a classic wrestling match. It was a brawl. It was a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest, cringiest spots of the night, Dustin Rhodes kisses Jake Hager's wife on the mouth.
Was it a kiss, or was it more of just like rubbing his face against her?
It looked like it started as a kiss. And then he went, I need to get more makeup on you.
I mean, if you start kisses like putting your cheek to the lips of the person you're kissing, then yeah, that's starting as a kiss. Because it was just bad. He's just kind of rubbing the face paint on her, which is funny because later on you see she pulls out a makeup wipe and just starts wiping it off. But yeah, that was all the gross, all the cringe. But then Jake Hager does inevitably make Dustin Rhodes pass out for the victory. So Jake Hager, in his first match in AEW, has a victory over Dustin Rhodes.
So we see Jake Hager go to the well with quite a few blasts from the past. He hits the...
Pump handle slam?
Hager Vader bomb?
Yeah, he hits the, I called it a pump handle, the gut wrench power bomb.
Yep, gut wrench power bomb.
Which got the closest near fall of the match.
He hits what I would be calling the Hager bomb. I don't know why you're calling it the Vader bomb, because Vader didn't run over his opponent. He did what Killian Dane does.
Yeah, he just, flattens the person. So.
Right, so I would still be calling it something else. He puts him in the ankle lock for a good minute and a half.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic match. Get a lot of blasts from the past, and then we see Jake Hager just absolutely break Dustin down from an MMA background standpoint, and he is just out there to make him pass out at that point.
Yeah, so Hager definitely has not lost a step in the ring. He looks as massive, as swole as ever, vicious in the ring, so... Really nice to see Jake Hager. Hopefully we get more of him in a wrestling capacity in the near future. So next, we get Sammy Guevara versus the returning Darby Allin.
Holy shiza.
This match. Oh my goodness. So this was not what you would expect it to be in terms of, Darby Allin doing more of the flips and stuff, and Sammy Guevara is a high flyer, but compared to Darby Allin, no. But Sammy Guevara was the one taken to the air a lot.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara low-key was Ricochet in this match.
Yeah.
Hits the 630 senton
through
into a table.
Yeah. So Darby Allin starts this match while he's doing his entrance in the ring. He just kind of sprints and does a tope suicida on Sammy Guevara. The first, 15 minutes of this match are outside of the ring.
They're not even in the match.
So if you look at an official match time, it probably looks shorter than it actually is. But no, it's a pretty long match actually. Like I said, Sammy Guevara was doing all the high octane spots and stuff. There was one point where Darby went for another tope and he just kind of smacked on the side of the gate.
Yeah, his heel got caught on one of the ropes.
Yeah.
And he did connect a little bit. They showed it in the replay.
Yeah,
like the forehead hit like the top of the head of Sammy Guevara, but he went face first into the steel boundary there.
And that pretty much set up the rest of the match. Sammy Guevara pretty much takes control for the majority of this matchup. There's one spot where he goes for a double stomp on Darby Allin, who's laid out on the apron. And the way he kind of landed, he like tweaked his ankle. That looked a little botched. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it looked a little botched.
Well, but the good thing is, it looked like it didn't hurt him at all. He wasn't like limping through the ring very much.
No, it just was an awkward landing.
Yeah.
But then the way this match ends, he hit, I don't even know what to call this DDT. It was like I don't even know what to call it. It was just like a flippy stuff, like spinny, massive DDT.
This was after like the over the back stunner thing.
Yeah.
And then he does this massive DDT into the most impactful coffin drop I've ever seen.
Yeah, and he had to kind of get some distance on that too.
Yeah, I was
Sammy
like,
was
no way he's gonna hit him.
Sammy was like more than halfway across the ring, but big coffin drop for the win for Darby Allin. So this was great. And then this was the match. This match we're about to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
For the tag team titles. What am I holding on about?
Before you get into it, we should probably talk a little bit about the after-match thing with Darby Allin. Darby Allin goes to hit Sammy Guevara with the skateboard. Sammy gets saved, and Darby just basks in the crowd on his return. Now we talk about match of the night. Sorry.
Made me wait for that.
Yep.
So anyway, this is why I'm your champion, because I know what you people want, and I know you want to get to what is one of the best matches of the night, and that is Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks for the Tag Team Championship. Oh, mamma mia, this match was fantastic.
You know what they want, but you have me here to record a video for Monday Night Raw?
Hey, still does better than SmackDown.
No kidding.
Exactly.
We could be reviewing a kids' TV show and it would do better than SmackDown.
Look, are you going to sit here and critique your champion on what the fans want, what the fans don't want?
Don't you dare.
Oh, yeah, it's there, baby.
Don't invoke his... No.
I might even drink a little bit of the bubbly tonight. I'm rubbing it all in, baby. So why don't you just sit back, relax, and let the champ talk about what is one of the best matches of the night.
How dare you invoke that? You non-believer.
And I guess there's a reason, right? And we talk about that later on tonight, right? But, yes, so the biggest takeaway I got out the gate, Adam Page is so over.
In Chicago.
No, he's everywhere, man. When has he not gotten this reaction?
He always gets this reaction.
He gets the cowboy.
But it's to the point where he has them booing the Young Bucks. That's the Chicago crowd.
Yes, because like I've been saying, especially the way the Bucks were in this match tonight, like it's pushing towards the Bucks heel turn.
Right, because Hangman Page almost putting one of the Bucks through a table with the ring bell still on it was not a heel move.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks, so what was it, Matt Jackson, like beating down on his best friend, Kenny Omega?
Yeah, he ripped the tape off.
Yeah.
The difference is that's something you'll see the Bucks do in every match, face or not.
And what they did to Hangman Adam Page, trying to paralyze him on the outside.
He deserves it. He's a dick.
Nah, man. So, Hangman Adam Page, one of the most over men in this match. No, the most over man in this match tonight.
That's definitely debatable, dude.
In that match? I'm not talking about period.
Kenny.
I'm not talking about period. I'm talking
Kenny's,
about... No,
maybe not the initial pop.
Period. I'm talking about just that match on that night.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe the initial pop.
No, it was not close. All night, as soon you get the Kenny, like the... You get that, but as soon as Hangman, when the crowd exploded, it was
Which makes no sense. He's not even that talented.
You shut your mouth.
Look, I can flip over the ropes too.
And I quote, you know your role and shut your mouth. So, we get kicking off this match. Adam Page showing a little disrespect to Matt Jackson, spitting in the face of one half of the best tag team in the world, the real best tag team.
One of his lifelong
in
best
the world.
friends.
Yeah, so that was a little a little wow. But and they play off of the hatred, not hatred, but just the way the animosity between these two all match. Matt Jackson and Adam Page. By the end of the match, it was like they were bitter rivals. Like they hated each other by the end. And oh my god, the in-ring psychology for this match was so good. I mean, and again, we talk about the reaction for Adam Page. Kenny Omega, like I said, still was getting massive pops. Young Bucks got booed, like heavily booed.
Y'all let me down, Chicago.
Chi-Town, I can't wait to be back. But
That makes one of us.
It was amazing. So many good spots. I was itching for a V-trigger like the majority of this match. Kenny made you wait. He made you hold out for it. But he finally hit one near the end of the match. But I want to kind of break down just the ending spots here. So at one point, it looked like the Young Bucks were going to win this match. So there was one point where Hangman Adam Page gets taken out on the outside of the ring. They hit a Meltzer driver on the ramp, which, by the way, it's the elevated ramp, which that preceded, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Succeeded.
That succeeded. That's the one.
Succeeded. Succeeded would be like what the South did.
Yeah.
Words are hard in English. I'm just saying. I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Second hardest language to learn in the world.
Yeah, but Matt Jackson hit the power driver on Adam Page on the ramp first.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong.
It was. I forget what move it was.
Well, this is what happens when we can't record until Monday because of freaking Bleacher Report Live.
Yeah, but they effectively take out Adam Page from the match. So then it's just them versus Kenny. Which, by the way, we said on Wednesday the best bout machine is back, and we saw that in this match. So, stereo super kicks to Kenny Omega. No.
Stereo V triggers.
Stereo V triggers after that. Still no. Kenny Omega kicked out at 1.
From the Stereo V trigger.
Yeah. Kicked out at 1.
Then ate a super kick party, kicked out at 2.
Kicked out at 2. And the best reaction, by the way, which it was my reaction too, when Kenny kicked out at 1, you just have a guy in the crowd going, yeah, that was me.
I would say that's the second best reaction of the entire night. Second only to when what Matt Jackson kicks out of the V-trigger buckshot combo, and Hangman Adam Page is like, what?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just kind of like, huh? But then we get satisfaction for Hangman Adam Page as the way he's carried this tag team all along. He gets the victory for him and Kenny. Buckshot lariat for the 1, 2, 3. And he had a little bit to say about this after the match. I kind of called him out on it. If you want to explain your immediate reaction to the match.
I had 2 reactions. I didn't say one because, we always talk about finishing moves. You won with a clothesline, bro. What are you, JBL? Come on.
It's the buckshot.
Oh, I do a little flippy thing before my clothesline. Ah!
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, you can over-critique any wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm a fan of the Judas effect, which is just a spinning back elbow, but still.
Yes.
You have the best tag team in the world. You have arguably the second best tag team in the world with the Lucha Bros. And you have the tag belts on 2 single stars.
But it's different because they're indie guys. And the way I called him out immediately was the fact that no one's saying the same thing about Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. So
the reason is because there's no tag teams in NXT.
But
there's like 12 tag teams in AEW that are probably worth it. Okay, maybe 6, but still.
Especially when it's not like the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros have not headlined former shows in AEW already. So, I mean, it's nice to have the belt.
Keep him on SCU.
Yeah.
Give him to the Best Friends or the Lucha Express. Or not Lucha Express, Jesus. Jurassic Express. Somebody else.
But why?
Let's stick the tag team belts on 2 members of the Elite. But not the 2 that are a tag team.
The way I justified it was that, again, these 2 have been in the Elite for years. They have oodles of chemistry, as you can see. It's not like this is the first time that they've wrestled together in a tag team.
Literally, the entire storyline was they have no chemistry.
Well,
if you go back and watch the last 2.5 months of AEW wrestling.
Yes, it's the storyline, but IRL, like, we're acting like they've never competed in tag matches before. They did all the time in New Japan. So it's not like it's the first time. So I'm just saying, like, if the argument is, oh, they're not a real tag team, they were, because they're in the Elite stable.
No.
They're in the stable.
That doesn't make them
Elite.
a tag team.
Okay, I'm just saying.
So what are you saying, Randy Orton and Ric Flair are a tag team? Oh, well, they were in Evolution together, so they're a tag team.
I mean, they never really wrestled in tag matches, though.
That's my point.
But Hangman and Kenny did it.
In 8-man tag team matches, 6-man tag, they never tagged together really until AEW, and they talk about
also,
that.
one is you have like a 60-year-old Ric Flair compared to at the time would have been like a 20-year-old Randy Orton. Kenny and Hangman are like relatively close in age.
Right, but while we were going through our hiatus, they did this whole thing where, well, Kenny and Hangman have been kind of stuck in these tag team matches together because they've never really tagged together before.
But it doesn't matter. They're still.
Oh, but it doesn't matter when it's a guy that you like.
You also like Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, so you're being a hypocrite.
No, I like them because there's no tag teams. Who do you want to stick the titles on? There's Undisputed Era, and there's what? Grizzled Young Vets?
I mean, you still have Street Profits from Monday Night Raw. They go back and forth between the 2 shows. You could easily.
They're part-time on NXT.
So are any of the UK talent. They're not full-time.
That's what I'm saying. Well, who do you have other than the Undisputed Era? Name it.
I'm just saying.
What are you going to put it on? What is it? Oh my God. I can't even think of their names because they're so bad. The guys who have the Super American gimmick. Oh. What are you going to put it on them?
Oh, I can't even think of their name right now.
Yeah, exactly. What, are you going to put it on them? You have the Undisputed Era and who?
Well, you also have, once he comes back, you have Fandango and Breeze.
Well, that'd be great, but he's injured. You have the Undisputed Era and who?
You do have the Lucha House Party.
Not on NXT.
They're in the Cruiserweight division, so they're shared with
Jesus Christ. You are grasping at straws.
It's not
Name another tag team.
Name
another tag team that's in NXT.
Your argument's a straw man argument.
Name another tag team that's in NXT.
I'm grasping at straws because your argument's a straw man argument because it doesn't change the fact that these are still 2 of the most over people in wrestling and they're 2 of the best wrestlers in the world.
But my question is...
That's how you build tag teams. Edge and Randy Orton weren't a tag team either, and then they became one of the best tag teams in the world.
So then why are you complaining about Rollins and Murphy?
Because the difference is you had with Rollins River, you had AOP and you had what's it called, the War Raiders, and it's a match that everybody wanted to see.
So if your argument is there's other tag teams, name another tag team in NXT.
But my difference was that Seth Rollins was already competing for the world title. You don't need him to have like multiple belts if you're going to put him in storylines with that. Kenny Omega isn't fighting for the championships.
Pete Dunne was fighting for the UK championship 2 months ago.
Yes, but now his whole focus is on the tag division. He's actually become a tag team star. No, Seth Rollins literally right after they won the title fought for a No More Contendership match to be in the match for the Universal Champion.
Lost.
But he still fought.
See, but this is what you're saying. You are giving the same arguments that I am. They're very, very weak veiled arguments.
But they're not though, because you said that Seth Rollins became focused on the tag division after, but he didn't. He immediately went after No More Contendership match.
But still,
so that made your point wrong.
No, that's not how that works.
You said something that was inherently a lie, and then I proved how it was wrong.
How is that inherently a lie?
Because you said he focused on the tag division, but then he immediately went after a singles championship after.
He was put in a match. He never requested the match.
He said, my whole focus is becoming the champion and fighting at WrestleMania. He said that. His words. So if you're going to make that argument, then at least make it using real things. My
favorite thing is you still have not answered name another tag team in NXT because there isn't one.
But that's NXT, but AEW is still a different beast.
There's like 7 tag teams. You could put this on so many other people, and you're like, I'm going to put it on Kenny and Hangman.
But if you have any of those tag teams beat Kenny and Hangman, do they not get a massive rub?
They do, but they'd get the same, if not more of a rub, from beating the Bucks.
But it's also a storyline. It's also a storyline with the Young Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny.
It's a storyline that definitely could have ended here tonight.
But why? Why end it that fast? Why not keep it
Because
going?
you are holding the tag team division hostage.
How are you holding the tag division? The tag division, we talk about every week how this is one of the best tag divisions in the world.
It is, but
they've been having no problem putting on great matches.
But this is the other thing. If you keep the belts on them, and you've made it very clear that you want Hangman to be a champion, and I'm not talking about just you, I'm talking about AEW. You want Hangman and Adam Page to be a champion. You want him to have that run. It's guaranteed. You put anybody up against them other than the Young Bucks, they're not dropping the belts.
I don't know about. I disagree with
Who are they going to drop the belts to?
You could easily lose it back to SCU. You could lose it to the Lucha Bros. Hell, you could lose it to the Dark Order at one point.
They've beat all of those tag teams already.
Yes, because there's only like 7 teams in the whole company, but that doesn't change the fact they could still lose. SCU had beat them before, and they ended up winning the championship.
So did the Lucha Bros.
That's my point. Is that because there are 7 or 8 tag teams, you're going to have to lose to one of them.
I don't know, man.
You're going to have to. You literally are going to have to.
But again, this is what I'm saying. You have all that talent in the tag division. You don't need to throw together tag teams.
But that's how tag teams aren't just like, oh, we came up together. Sometimes you put tag teams together and it's magic in a bottle. It's lightning in a bottle. That's how that works. Again, Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, lightning in a bottle. Edge, Randy Orton, lightning in a bottle.
Eddie and Ray.
Yes,
you're 100% correct. But almost all of those developed in a time where there are no huge tag teams.
Well, I don't know about the Eddie and Ray one because I can't really go back to when there was on SmackDown.
That was like,
but I can point.
That was like Paul London.
Yeah, I can't think of anything on SmackDown, but I can think about like on Monday Night Raw when Edge and Randy Orton were tag teams. I mean, they weren't like massive names nowadays, but you still had a tag division at least on Monday Night Raw back then because that was back when you had the brand split before.
Right? Yeah, I know, but like. You get what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have the Lucha Bros, the Bucks, SCU. No, you had, like, what? Like, I don't know, Gene Snitsky and some random dude from the crowd or something? Putting Hangman, Adam Page, and Kenny Omega in a tag team isn't like just putting 2 random guys and you're putting 2 of the top stars in the company. In a tag team, people, again, that have been in a stable together, they have chemistry. You literally are only doing this because you don't have a secondary singles title. That's the only reason AEW is doing this.
Also, is that you also don't want to. Kenny has said that he wants to be in more of like a back. He doesn't want to be the main event. He doesn't want to be the guy that's always competing for the world championship or whatever.
Which also is stupid because you're the best wrestler in the world.
And AEW doesn't yet feel like Hangman Page is ready to take that next step. So this is just how you develop him and get him ready for the next step.
Or you have a secondary singles title.
But you don't.
So that's what I'm saying. Because they don't, they're like, we're just going to put 2 random guys together in a tag team. Are they not one of the best tag teams we've seen in AEW? They are amazing together. Very good. Yes. So what's the complaint here? The fact that people complain consistently about this problem in WWE, on Raw, on SmackDown. They've complained about it with other companies in the past.
But they complain about it, but those arguments have been shot down previously. Again, people can try to compare, like you did, Rollins and Murphy, but then we use Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Hell, I'll use Cesaro and Sheamus who is now considered one of the best tag teams in the world. The New Day! 3 completely different people, and they are now considered one of the greatest tag teams in WWE.
How long was the build for Cesaro and Sheamus? 4? It was 5 months before they won the title?
It was like 2 or 3 months.
They won it in like 3 weeks.
Wait, hold up. Hangman and Kenny have.
It was like a month and a half. Bro.
It was like a month. Yes, but like the companies isn't that old. I don't know. I don't think it's a problem.
They didn't build it at all. It was just, you guys are tag champs. Good luck.
But you don't need to have months of build for something to be good. You don't need that.
No, but whatever.
It's just a fundamental disagreement here, and I don't even know why. Again, I don't get why you're complaining because you like it. So I don't You're just mad because the Young Bucks lost.
No, I'm mad because Kenny Omega's stuck in the tag division.
So you're just so let's just jam Kenny Omega in the world title scene.
Yes. Kenny Omega should have been the guy who beat Jericho. No, don't get me wrong. I love Moxley, and we'll talk about this. Moxley is the guy who made me return to wrestling in 2015. Kenny Omega's the best wrestler in the world. I don't need to see him with a tag belt around his waist. I just don't.
That's just you can't just put this. You can't just put one or two people in the main event scene all the time. You have to have different people.
Yeah, that's perfectly true. But in AEW, Kenny Omega's never been in the main event except for one, and it was when he lost to Chris Jericho.
Yeah, because he wants to take that step back.
Well,
he's agreeing with what I'm saying, is that he doesn't need to just be, it's because he is that good and because people love him doesn't mean he needs to be John Cena and be the world champion and be the main event of every pay-per-view.
He doesn't have to be the main event of every pay-per-view,
but you would love him to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you would love it if AJ Styles was, wouldn't you?
No, because I loved John Cena, and I got annoyed just like everybody else did with him being in the main event of every show.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
If as much as I love people, I also get bored of the same thing every single week, every single month, because you can't just give me the same product. You have to have change. You have to differentiate. And I'm not and I can't be hypocritical and say I love it with AJ or Kenny, but then say I hated it with Roman and John Cena.
Okay, but this is the other thing. And we've talked about this. You have to also remember that this is a young company. And it's the history of this company that matters. Kenny's never been world champion in AEW. He's never had a world championship run.
Because he's
been in the main event once.
Because you've only had 2 champions.
Right, but you're saying it would be stale.
Yeah, I said it would be stale if you rammed Kenny down our throats, which it very much would. It would get old, like it would with anyone else.
Well, what would the problem be with him being in the main event now?
Well, now he's holding the tag belt.
That's my point. So why is he a tag team champion when he could have been in the world title picture?
Because we had the whole months long storyline of John Moxley. So then you'd be moving Moxley out.
No, I'm not saying move Moxley out. I'm just saying have him somewhere in the picture.
But at this moment he can't be, because you just wrapped up a storyline with Moxley and Chris Jericho.
No, he should have been put in the picture before you strapped the damn tag belt on him.
But
he's not a tag team guy.
But let's talk about the 2 people that were before Moxley. You had Cody Rhodes and you had Adam Page. So you're saying you have to move one of those 2 people out. You have to move either Adam Page, who was on the very first pay-per-view, which was months ago, or you would have had to move Cody, which was a storyline. Keep in mind, there's a company that has 4 pay-per-views a month. So out of 3 shows, it's Cody, Hangman, and John Moxley. So you have to take one of those out.
That's not true. That's not true. They had championship matches on AEW Dynamite.
Yes, but we're talking about pay-per-view shows. So
I'm not. Who said that we are?
Okay, so let's just have Kenny on a random championship match.
You could have done. I would have loved to have seen them build it to where there's one of those big super shows that they have.
But you're just jamming him in matches, but you're not taking into account storylines, because he's been in this angle with Pac since before then. Since the first pay-per-view, he's been in that angle. Then
resolve the angle with Pac before putting the tag belt on him.
But just because you want it done doesn't mean everybody else does. Why should you just end storylines for no reason? When it's been built, when it has built.
There's no storyline to end. Then keep him in the storyline with Pac. Keep him in the storyline with Pac. Why put the tag belt on him?
Well, but the thing is,
why put the tag belt on him?
This is time.
Answer the question.
If you let me finish, you had a timeline with him and his storyline with Pac. As soon as that was resolved, you went straight into the tag team belts, because you already had Moxley fighting for the championship against Chris Jericho.
The storyline with Pac isn't done yet. It might have finished a week ago.
I would say it's over.
Okay, a week ago it's over. But guess what? He's been tag team champion for a month.
Yeah, but
So why'd you strap the tag belts on him?
Well, because at one point you did have Pac, who hadn't been fighting. He actually had got injured, if you recall.
Yes, but why strap the tag belts on him instead of just having...
So the reason you couldn't resolve the storyline was because Pac was injured, so they had to push back the match. It probably would have gotten resolved earlier.
But just build to it. Build to it instead of strapping the tag belts on him and then going, oh yeah, by the way, you're tag champion, but we're going to have to do this now.
But at that point, you already, again, you have to consider the timeline. At that point, you already had Moxley contending for the World Championship.
But then Kenny builds towards the Pac match.
They did it simultaneously. They built for the Pac match while also putting them in the tag division,
which meant that Kenny was not going to have a singles match at this pay-per-view.
He was already not going to have a championship singles match because it was John Moxley.
Kenny versus Pac would have been the singles match. We might have had the Iron Man match on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but we all talked about how it's nice to have like great matches on TV.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's very nice to have great matches on TV, but
especially
you don't need to hang the tag belt on Kenny.
You just don't. Just because you don't need to doesn't mean you can't have it on them. There's no reason not to, is what I'm saying. You don't need to not have it on them. There's no reason not to. If you can, like, it works. They're two of the most over people in the company. They're two of the best wrestlers in the company, and they've proven to be a damn good tag team.
The only reason not to is you have a good tag team division.
But if you're AEW and you feel like some of the other tag teams besides your 3 top tag teams aren't ready to be tag champions, that's another reason why you do it too. I mean, you got SCU, you got the Young Bucks, and you got Lucha Bros. Okay, but who else would you want to put the belts on?
Well, personally, Jurassic Express, because I love them, but they're not ready. No, my argument is they're the second tag champs. You couldn't have put the Bucks or the Bros with the belt first?
It would, but again, it's the ramming the Bucks down our throat, which, again, I love you, Bucks. I promise I do. I know I trash you a little bit, not for your ring ability, but more towards of just the way you've been pushed, but I do love the Bucks. But, no, it's just the ramming the Elite down our throat. We're not necessarily Elite, but just the Bucks, like... I don't know. I don't think you need to do that with them, especially when they've been in major tag matches on prior pay-per-views before.
Maybe this is because I am a big-time indie wrestling fan. When somebody's that damn good in the ring, you let them go.
But they still have meaningful matches. I mean, they were fighting for the AAA World Tag Team Championships twice. Mm-hmm. 2 pay-per-views back to back.
Yep.
Those, because in AEW, it's not just about the AEW tag division, but it's also they recognize other tag divisions around the world.
Which is correct.
So you don't need to have... Lucha Bros are the AAA Tag Team Champions, so they don't need the AEW champions, and Young Bucks have already fought for those champions multiple times. So, and they still were in the match. It wasn't like they were just out of the main event scene. They still fought for the tag titles. So, just because they didn't win doesn't mean they don't suffer from losing this match. Or does the stock from the Young Bucks fall at all from losing this match?
No, I'm just... why do you need to put 2 singles competitors together in the tag division that's already stacked?
But... it's just because when you have chemistry that good, sometimes you just have to take a gamble and see if it works, and it works a lot. That's how wrestling is.
But this is the thing. It's very...
And again, I'm sorry to cut you off real fast, but you say stacked, but there's 3 major tag teams, and everyone else you're probably I don't know about them yet.
It's very, very clear that this title run is meant to set up a singles feud.
But that's where me and you disagree, though. You think it's setting up a singles feud. I think the Bucks are turning heel.
Oh, you mean the part where literally Hangman Page was setting up to hit a buckshot on Kenny after the match?
Because it's the tease. It's the, this is going to happen. I promise. It's like what they did with the Christopher Daniels thing. It's the, he's going to be the exalted one. They're playing with your emotions. They're going to make the fool out of all of you. Just watch. It's not going to be Hangman.
You know what the funny thing is? They're going to make a fool out of all of us. I've already figured it out. Hangman is going to have a singles feud with Matt Jackson. And Nick Jackson and Kenny Omega are going to become tag team partners. Because they're just the ones who are stuck in the middle of it.
Maybe.
Nick Jackson was the one who had twice pull Matt Jackson off of something.
No, that is fair. So,
big brain thoughts.
Maybe.
Can we move on to the next match? We've been on this one for 15 minutes. I know our arguing is really entertaining, but Raw is happening currently.
Who cares about Raw?
Not me, but we do have to record a video, and I have to get up tomorrow. At some point.
Hey, I don't have work tomorrow, so we can do it later. But, that was, at the end of the day, the Young Bucks lose this match. Hangman Adam Page and Kenny do retain.
We did forget to talk about one spot.
What spot?
Hangman Adam Page hit a one-winged angel.
One-winged angel. And it didn't even get kicked out. It got broken up.
Yep. That move is... unstoppable. You can't kick out of it. You just can't.
So I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I kind of drug this out a little bit too is because I there's like 30 seconds worth of things to talk about in this next match, and it's Chris Statlander versus Nyla Rose.
We're talking about that match other than just saying there's a winner?
Yeah, Nyla wins with a top rope powerbomb.
Yeah, congrats.
By the way, I want to pat myself on the back again because it was another match that I said was going to be bad that I didn't want to see, and then it was bad.
Yeah.
So
well, again, I think you put it perfectly last time. It's not that it was necessarily a bad match; they just have no in-ring chemistry.
No chem whatsoever. No chem.
Yeah. So back to the match that actually mattered.
MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the man who is better than you, and you know it, versus Cody. This, by the way, this was the only time that I was wrong tonight.
Yep.
Which, if you watched our previous video, I said I picked with my heart, not my brain. So yeah, I got this one wrong, guys.
I mean, to be fair, I picked with my heart, not my brain on the championship match. Is that fair to say? I mean, I love both of them equally.
Yeah, so this match, first of all, Cody comes out with a sporting new ink.
Yes. Okay, so
it's the talk of the wrestling world right now, by the way.
I loved it. I thought it was cool.
I like the
bad positioning.
Yeah, as I was going to say, I love the tat. I don't like having it right here.
It would have been cool on the back of your neck.
Like, Tony Khan's not a fan of it. His wife isn't a fan of it. Like, everyone's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would have loved that on the back of your neck. Side of your neck's a little weird spot.
A little goofy, but I mean, it's whatever. It's your life. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with it, especially when you're Cody freaking Rhodes, right? But this MJF comes out kind of in like this, weird, like not weird, excuse me, but like this cool like fight attire. Like,
yeah,
he's got
like
the
Ric
robe.
Flair kind of robe, except it's Burberry.
Yeah, Wardlow's back to wearing the suit and tie, looking as intimidating as ever. I think I'd rather him keep that on instead of sporting the all the muscles. So this match was brutal. It was a lot of story work in this match, a lot of in-ring psychology. This was a fight, like from the outset. This was a fight, and you could tell these two just don't like each other. MJF resorting to dastardly tactics. Cody. It was great because the way this match started was Cody was in full control, like completely outclassing MJF at every point. And the only way MJF was able to kind of even the odds and take control was via shenanigans. It was Wardlow, which allowed MJF to get back in control of this match. So, and that's kind of the story for the whole match, is that Wardlow just keeps playing interference, getting in the way every time Cody, starts to gain control. We did see Brandy Rhodes on the outside. She kind of had a confrontation with Wardlow at one point, which was all the sketch. Please don't kill Brandy Wardlow. But then we saw, finally, at the end, when they kind of alluded to it earlier, they had the, what's it called?
The Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF had hidden it, and he puts it on, delivers a shot to Cody Rhodes, and then that's the
you can count to 100 on that.
Yeah, that was it. Out cold. MJF wins. So I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the end. Excuse me. I liked the match. I didn't like the ending. And a couple people I saw on Twitter agreed with me in this. Just the fact that I would be okay with it if it wasn't the second time within like 2 weeks that you used that spot. Literally same spot. Ring on, clock, victory. Like, if you're going to do the he cheats to win thing, could you at least do him cheating in a different manner than just this? Like, it seemed like they just kind of got lazy with that point.
No, the first time Cody did it, right? He did it to Wardlow with the ring in the steel cage match.
Yes, but there was also a match MJF won.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
MJF matches are forgettable.
It's like remember the Shinsuke AJ thing with the who can kick who harder in the bollocks. Like, just it's not cool. It's not cool. No. It's lame. I don't hate it. I just don't like that you had to reuse the same spot you had already done to death. I don't care about the result. Like, I mean, MJF winning this match is still, good for MJF. It doesn't hurt Cody at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping this isn't the end of the feud.
Me too. Oh, no, I don't think it will be. Especially the way MJF won, too. I think it's actually setting up for a bigger match down the line, probably.
War Games.
Yeah.
Nightmare Family versus MJF, Wardlow, Butcher, and Blade.
That'd be cool.
And you get Cody, Dustin, QT Marshall, and Brandon Cutler. Okay, maybe we need to make some adjustments. Oh, DDP. I'll take that over Cutler. No offense.
There you go. So
or total offense, either way. Also, shout out to my boy Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow, showing up as a member of the Nightmare Family Escort. Cool. After having a match in WWE.
I forgot to mention, too, the way Cody came out in this entrance, having, like, the kind of like a boxing team. Yeah. They all had the Nightmare Family jackets on.
Yep. It was Arn Anderson and QT Marshall and Brandon Cutler and Brandy Rhodes and I think Dustin was there.
Yeah.
And Stephen Amell. It was so cool because Stephen always talks about on some of his pods about how much he loves Cody, how much he loved working with him. And for those of you who don't know, Cody Rhodes actually starred in not this last season, but I believe this 2 seasons ago of the Arrow TV show.
Yes. So that was cool. Now we get on to one of the few times again that I was wrong. And that's that. So I was right.
One of the best matches of the friggin' night.
I was right in my prediction for Chris Statlander and Nyla Rose not being a great match, but I was wrong with this one.
Very wrong about this one.
Though I don't agree with where it was placed on the card. I felt like it was pushed way too far down the card.
Placement was the wrong spot, but my God, was this beautiful.
So, Orange Cassidy, let's have a chat here, bud. Props to you, my guy. I had never seen him work on the indie scene, so I figured he could go. I didn't know he could go like that.
I told you.
Also, the dynamic worked. Pac even kind of gave in a little bit to the. I still think it's a little weird having one of your top heels, go goofy. But I guess if the storyline with Kenny's over and you're just gonna whatever with Pac, then I guess I don't have a problem with it.
Maybe this feud continues.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna make a mentality switch with Pac, I guess that's cool.
I'll watch Pac Cassidy too.
So this match kind of starts out again with Orange Cassidy kind of being lazy.
By the way, King of Sloth Style.
By the way, I love the way Justin Roberts, who you could just tell was having a blast all night, biggest smile, just cheesing the whole event. The announcement for Orange Cassidy from wherever. Weighing in at whatever, freshly squeezed. So that was great. Them all of best friends coming out in these adorable t-shirts with
Pop Funko kind of faces on them.
Yeah, that was. Also, even the pyro was the laziest. I didn't think you could make pyro seem lazy, but you did it. That was fantastic.
The King of Sloth Style was in full effect. Pac taps into some Sloth Style himself.
Yeah, they go back and forth with the lazy kicks.
Hey.
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 And then Pac just shoves him down to the mat. But that was great. Pac actually was funny because once Orange Cassidy started to try a little bit, Pac seemed genuinely concerned, get me out of here.
Yeah, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. Cassidy, you didn't tell me you were gonna do any of this.
Cassidy hit a tope suicida, and Pac was just get me out. What is happening?
And then Pac has Cassidy down, sets him up for the Black Arrow, and classic comedy wrestler spot of the year. Rolls all the way across the ring and out of the ring. Pac throws him in the ring. He starts rolls all the way to the other side. Pac goes all the way to the other side, stops him. Cassidy goes, and rolls back the other way.
It was fantastic. No complaints. No complaints. I was wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. This was a good match. Definitely better than it had any right to be. So,
oh my God, Cassidy's stunner.
Oh yeah,
Orange Cassidy's float over stunner thing
for a near fall.
Oh my gosh,
I thought they were gonna do it.
They should have done it.
Oh, I thought they were gonna.
And then he hits him with the Orange Crush.
Yeah, but nope. Pac with the brutalizer for the win.
Yeah, and that didn't take long. He strapped it in, and
he was
done.
As the lazy superhero that he is, kind of was like, nah, that's it. Like, get me out of this.
To the point of amazing comedy wrestling, I can't wait to see Orange Cassidy and Colt Cabana.
So we now get to the main event. One of the best points of the night.
Look, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to go into depth about why I'm going to miss you, Jericho. Jericho as the first champion of AEW. And you know what? Hopefully, as much as you're going to hate hearing this, hopefully he gets another run with it after his world tour is done. So, have you heard the rumblings as to why he dropped the belt?
I have not.
He will actually be going on a world tour, and it has not yet been announced. So they didn't want to have this match once the world tour was announced, because then it's obvious. But afterwards, it came to light that Chris Jericho's band Fozzy will be going on a world tour. So Europe, Asia, Oceania. So they will be doing a world tour, so they wanted to take the belt off of Jericho while he was overseas.
So this is the cynic in me, but it kind of makes it seem like they only took the belt off because of that.
But this is the other thing. Sources, or people close to the source, say that the guy who was supposed to take the belt off Jericho was going to be Moxley anyway, and they were planning to do it at the next pay-per-view. But the announcement was going to come before the next pay-per-view, so they said, we will make the Moxley title reign start now instead of a month from now.
That makes it better. Like, I sure hope that was it, and they weren't just like, oh, we were planning on just keeping the belt on Jericho, because it was time.
When they were working the feud out, the idea was to have somebody else challenge Jericho this month.
Okay.
Initially. And then when Jericho said, hey, we're going to be doing a world tour, we're announcing in mid-March, they said, oh, well, then maybe we should probably do the Moxley thing now.
Thank God for that world tour. It just saved us from another month of Jericho's reign.
Also, thank God for Jericho coming forward, being clean, like being the guy Jericho is.
Yeah.
Coming forward and saying, hey, Cody, I just want to let you know, like, we're releasing information for a world tour in, like, mid-March, so... it's going to be pretty obvious if you take the belt off me afterwards.
Granted, he never did that in WWE.
Yeah.
When he wasn't a big feud and like he had like a tour or whatever, like everyone knew it was just like, oh, he's losing because tour. So
thank you, Jericho.
Thank you for actually
thank you, Cody, for caring about the company.
Yeah, like you can tell he's where his happiness is.
Yeah.
But yes, finally, the main event. Finally,
well, ladies and gentlemen,
Moxley versus Chris Jericho.
The era of Moxley has begun. And I'm going to quote the greatest commentator in professional wrestling, John Bradshaw Layfield. You really want this man to represent your company? He's going to be on all the daytime talk shows.
It's been a long time coming. In fact, it is a year almost to the day.
So we had mentioned this. That night, it was 1 year, 1 month, and 2 days removed from the announcement that Jon Moxley would not be extending his WWE contract.
Yes. So let's just think about where this man has come from. I mean, and everyone's talked about it. It's all over social media. From wearing a stupid gas mask because he didn't want to be contaminated by the WWE universe, to being in meaningless feuds with Seth Rollins,
to making leukemia jokes, and swelling up to an almost unhealthy amount, to being on top of the world, and just everything that he's had to fight through. So Jon Moxley started out as a hardcore style wrestler, and that was kind of it. He was just viewed as a deathmatch guy.
People thought he was going to be the next Mick Foley, and that he could just do, your hardcore style.
And he was given an opportunity in OVW to finally showcase his wrestling abilities. And it was there where he met one of his best friends, Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. As much as I hate to say that. And these guys together wound up making their way through the ranks, NXT, into WWE, The Shield, we know all of that.
And shout out to not only the to the Shield brothers of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Jon Moxley, but also to WWE because, I mean, as much as I critique them and hate them, I mean, they saw talent and they put a rocket ship on all three of these guys. And
even if they initially wanted the Big Show in the stable.
Yeah, but they strapped a rocket ship to these guys and they sent them to the moon and they've just been flying high ever since. I mean, a couple lows here and there, but I mean, my God, look at who's on top of the wrestling industry right now. You have Jon Moxley as the I almost said UCW.
Jesus.
As the AEW World Champion. You have Roman Reigns now fighting for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. And you have Seth Rollins who's leading the charge on Monday Night Raw every week. So
yeah. I genuinely long for the day that Vince puts the belt on both Rollins and Reigns and we have Moxley as AEW World Champion.
It'll happen.
And the Shield brothers reign supreme over
the business.
All of professional wrestling.
It'll happen. It'll happen probably sooner than you think.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we talked about rumors of Seth Rollins potentially having a match for the title here in a couple months.
And he's even talked about the possibility of after the McIntyre-Lesnar match, which McIntyre's going to win.
Yes, please. I mean, I after Goldberg Fiend, anything is possible.
That's fair. You know what? That's what WWE did there. They were like, you know what? We're getting too predictable. We're going to have Goldberg beat the Fiend. No, so Seth Rollins, possibly beating Drew McIntyre, it's considered that it may be one of those short transitional titles, which sucks, but
yes, it does.
To have Seth, Roman, and Jon Moxley
that would be cool.
on top of the business. But so we'll fast forward to 2015 for you guys with the Jon Moxley story, and this is where we start getting back into wrestling full time. I mean, you'd been watching it here and there, and I was playing video games, but that's about it. And we went to a live event.
Yes.
At Joe Louis Arena, SummerSlam Heatwave Tour of 2016.
And ladies and gentlemen, it was a Detroit street fight.
Yeah, so I had been watching here and there, and I really liked this Dean Ambrose guy, but that night, that match, the interaction he had with the fans, the chemistry that he had with the fans, that put me over. That was it. I was in love. I bought this shirt that night. It was everything I needed. And Jon Moxley is a guy who brought me back to pro wrestling. The style that he has, the if you want to say it, the rattlesnake, or the Stone Cold style. Just not giving an F.
We see that later on, too.
The character. Everything.
It's not character. Like, that is his personality.
That is Jon Moxley.
That's why I love him so much, because it's his genuine character showing through. Like, everything he does is just so genuine. It's so raw.
It's one of those characters we talk about, guys who their character is just an over-exaggerated version of themselves.
Yes.
That's Jon Moxley.
Oh, except I don't feel like this is an over-exaggeration. Like, I feel like this is genuinely just like we've seen interviews with Renee. We've seen interviews with like Renee Young where she's like, "No, that's like John. That is who he is."
Yeah, but then there's like Deathmatch Jon Moxley. I feel like that's Moxley turned up to 11.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna put you through a trampoline of barbed wire, and you're like, okay, well maybe that's not John, but
yeah, but so Chris Jericho coming out the way he did,
that was so cool.
You had the crowd again singing along to the theme song.
They had a live choir.
Yeah,
sing Judas.
It was fantastic. Having Jon Moxley, he didn't just come to the crowd. He came when cameras were already in the way his entrance picked out. He came off the street. Like he was watching the live stream on his phone and he's like, "Oh, time for my match." He just walks right in through the event center, walks right in. Like, oh my God, it was...
These guys put on an amazing match. And not just like amazing for Jericho match, because, sometimes we do talk about how he struggles to go in the ring. He went.
This was definitely one of Jericho's better matches in AEW. You could definitely tell the not wrestling as often has helped him a little bit. It's helped him get back in shape.
And not just that, Jericho has talked openly about how, working in the studio so much, working with his band to get ready for the world tour has taken a lot out of him.
Yes.
The last week or two, he's taken everything off of music and he has been doing nothing but working out.
And it also helps, too, the fact that these two have amazing chemistry. They fought multiple times.
The feud in WWE.
Yeah. So.
While I didn't care about it as much as I do this one. I mean, the Lunatics Asylum match.
Oh, the Ambrose Asylum. That wasn't the only match they had, though, which was they had multiple matches in that feud. So,
that's the one where you saw the closest thing to Jon Moxley and the closest thing to today's Chris Jericho, probably.
Yeah. So it was. These two have great chemistry. They've always had. That's what made this part of what made this feud so great was that you could just the carryover from WWE,
and that it wasn't over a potted plant named Mitch.
Nope, that it was like actually over something like I don't know,
a championship belt,
a world title belt. So that was fantastic. These two. God, I mean, there's so much I could say about this match. It didn't, again, like, one of the funnier parts was just the fact that, like, the first, 10 minutes of this match took place in the crowd on the outside.
Props to Aubrey Edwards. So I know it's only kayfabe, but props to Aubrey Edwards with the referee's discretion thing. In a big match like this, not to throw it out for a DQ. And
JR talked about this a little bit. He wanted the match gone. And this is one of the few times I disagree with JR in the fact that they've talked about this in the past that, if it's a main event, it's a big match like this, you're not going to throw out a match like this. You're going to let them go a little bit. There was the talk about, okay, where do you draw the line a little bit? Because they weren't just fighting on the outside, but they were, like, pulling out, like, weapons, like, hitting each, like, foreign objects.
Jericho hit Moxley over the back with a stanchion pole.
Yeah, and then, like, they were pulling out, like, steel chairs and stuff, so it's like, where do you draw the line, I guess? Yeah. But it was fine. The match ended back inside the ring, and then it was, your not standard, but just your regular one-on-one match.
Well, we talked about this during the match. AEW is trying to show themselves as more of like a legitimate fighting company than WWE. They're doing the whole, entertainment thing over there. So they're trying to portray the idea that, okay, the referee had a discussion with these guys before the match, and this is the rule set that she went over. The one thing that this was missing, because they had the boxing style intro, they had a weigh-in, they had all of the stuff leading up to like a legitimate fight, would have been, and we talked about this, having Aubrey talking to the mic before the match and say, look, guys, we went over the rules in the back. Please keep it this way. This is how I'm going to call the match. I'm going to call it down the middle.
Now, I do feel like a lot of that was just because we just had the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight, so I just think they're coming off the boxing high for that. And especially because, and the main reason I think that is because we haven't seen that in past championship defenses. Right. So I feel like that might just be a kind of capitalizing on the hotness of boxing right now.
I would love to see them continue to move in that direction, though.
I mean, it's just as long as we're not getting weigh-ins every championship match, I'm fine. Like, I didn't like the weigh-in. So as long as, you could do the thing with the referee, rule set and everything, just get rid of the weigh-in.
You can do the weigh-in, just not on Dynamite. Do it how boxing does.
You have it be on Dark or something, or some just random YouTube live stream.
Put it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, just as long as you're not. And in the main event, it's going to be the weigh-in.
Two guys finding out how much they weigh.
Yeah, especially because we don't have weight divisions in AEW, so there's just no point. If you were going to go that route, because I know there are wrestling companies that do go that route, you kind of have it in WWE with the Cruiserweight division, even though you can still be a Cruiserweight and challenge for the world title. So if you're going to go that route, then I guess, while I wouldn't love it, I wouldn't hate it either.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They talk about fighting up classes. You can fight up a class. You can't fight down classes.
Exactly, yeah. So I'd be okay with it. But
works for me.
Moxley, and you had called, I don't know if you called it on one of our podcasts, but I know we talked about it off camera, was the fake.
He'll be taking his eye patch off during the match or before the match.
So we have been talking about how we felt like Jon Moxley the injury was probably healed by now, that there was going to be a reveal at some point. He didn't do it before the match started.
He waited quite a while.
In fact, he waited to the end of the match, literally to the end of the match.
Yeah, I told you a couple of different times. I was like, there's a couple different spots here where Jericho probably could have hit a Judas effect.
Yes.
And it looked like for some reason they went somewhere else. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, something else is coming. Like, that, well, of course we had the ending spoiled for us. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way,
thanks, Bleacher Report.
We got the ending spoiled for us, which that was probably more on our fault for that because
we wouldn't have had to have worried about that had we been doing the thing.
Yes, we went to show our friend Nick Austin, who couldn't be here for today's recording, unfortunately, something on YouTube, and yeah, right on the front page of YouTube,
Jon Moxley is the new world champion. Wow, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
You couldn't have waited I don't know, an hour and a half to
at least
put a spoiler warning thing on your video. No, just a picture of Moxley with the title.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. It didn't ruin the night for me. It definitely made me angry though.
But that also made me overly critical of the match because then every time I saw an opening, I'm like, why didn't you go for the Judas effect? You could have hit it.
Yeah, but we saw at one point Moxley get cut open on his eye. There's blood gushing under the eye patch. So we're thinking okay, maybe
blood pack.
Yeah, so we're thinking blood pack. We're also thinking, maybe it's maybe they're trying to build the injury. Maybe he's not going to take the eye patch off because at this point we're 3/4 of the match in, and we're he still hasn't taken the eye patch off. Maybe they're just selling it. Maybe it's just nope, it's going to be Pirate Moxley forever. But no. Yo ho. World Championship, we go. But if I could whistle, I'd sing the next part. But no, we get the reveal of Moxley, which, by the way, what a reveal. Jericho was so smart, such great in-ring psychology. The entire match, what was his focus?
The eye.
The eye. The whole match was just focusing on attacking the eye.
I'd like to point out that once we went over to my house to watch the end of the pay-per-view on cable, we did not continue our drinking game, which is good because no one would have been sober by the end of the night.
Yeah. We also talked about how if this was Moxley's plan all along after Jericho's focus on the eye the whole match, Moxley takes the eye patch off and reveals to everyone he's been faking the whole match. We don't know how long he's been faking. It could have been since this past week. Could have been for weeks. We don't know.
But the whole match he was faking.
So that means all that effort, all that time Jericho spent
on the
attacking the eye did not matter.
When he should have been going after the legs for the Walls of Jericho, or the chest, or the neck.
Yeah, setting up for the
Judas effect, or the code breaker. Well, the code breaker's more face.
Yeah, but what was a little goofy was that we talked about, that was Moxley's plan all along to do the reveal of the eye patch at the end of the match and get Jericho weak and fatigued. It's kind of a risky play because we talked about, there were at least 2 times in that match Jericho could have caught him with a Judas effect. If you get caught early enough in that match, that's it. Bye-bye. So, kind of a risky game plan, but it did pay off because he gets the reveal, catches everyone off guard, and then not 1, but 2 paradigm shifts for the 1,
well, and that's after
2, 3.
After he ducks a Judas effect.
Yeah. So, fantastic. The pop, the reaction, the love, the admiration from the crowd, the way Moxley just soaked it all in, raw, genuine emotion, tears welling up in the eyes of Jon Moxley, just the way he was just grasping, hugging the title, he wasn't going to let it go. It was fantastic. And then what he said after the match, grabs the microphone and says, "This isn't for me. This is not my title. This is for all of you guys. This championship belongs to the fans, and for those that have been with me since the beginning, especially.
Everyone who's followed me through thick and through thin. Everyone who's been there for all the ups and all the downs."
Yep. And then, classic Moxley, at one point, the music hits, and Moxley looks around and he's like, "Hey, what the F?"
Yeah, what the...
Yeah.
And then they, cut that off.
He's like, I'm just kind of making this up as I go.
Yeah, man, this is coming from the heart. Look, if I pause, it's because I'm thinking, man. I didn't write this down. I am who I am. And I just won a world title in the first big actually pro wrestling based company since WWE went from the Attitude Era to the PG Era.
Yeah, and
the Ruthless Aggression Era to the PG Era.
But yeah, he then goes, yeah, I'm starting to feel like it's beer o'clock. So, and I'm tired. So he goes into the crowd and celebrates, actually giving high fives to the crowd like he was relishing in the moment. It was amazing. Great way to go off the air.
And it was in this moment. You know, I've been a Jericho fan my whole life. I've been a Moxley fan since I got back into wrestling. It was in the moment when he had the mic that I remembered why I love Jon Moxley so much.
Yes.
Because this guy has such a genuine love, such a genuine care for the business. Not for the money, like Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the fame, like John Cena and The Rock.
I'll take The Rock. I don't know if I take John Cena.
He's a tweener. But, not like the money for, like, Brock.
Yeah.
Talking about money. He is in this business because he loves the business, because he loves the fans. Like the Young Bucks talked about when they were talking about their autobiography, about which got crammed down our throats. You want to talk about crammed down your throats? Mm-hmm. They talk about how they love the business so much that they didn't want to be in WWE when they were growing up. They wanted to own their own company.
Yes.
They said, I never wanted to go to WWE. I never worried about the big lights or the big money. I worried about wrestling the best matches I could. If that meant that I had to wrestle in the backyard, in my backyard the rest of my life to put on the best matches I can, I'd rather do that than get paid. Yes. That's how Moxley is.
So seeing Moxley with that belt, it's what we've needed, in my opinion, since the beginning. It's, which I feel like had the MRSA not happened, maybe we'd have got Moxley out the gate.
Well, I think it's the timing.
Because if you talk about legitimizing your belt, while Jericho does have that legitimized factor, so does Moxley. Yeah. So
well, this is and this is why I'm saying it's probably the timing, because Moxley was already scheduled for Kenny.
Yeah.
That pay-per-view. My thinking with the timing is, had his contract run out 3 months earlier, and they could have revealed him before Double or Nothing, they could have thrown him into the title picture then.
Yeah.
But based on the timing, his contract ran out here. His non-compete ended literally like a week before Double or Nothing.
And I did... Now that it's over and that we can look back on Jericho's reign.
I love this title reign.
It was a good reign. Jericho, I mean, he's still very entertaining. Still a good wrestler.
He went from a solid 9 out of 10 in the ring to maybe a 6.
Yeah, 6.5, 7, I'd say.
But he can still go.
He can still go. It's
not like watching Taker.
Yeah. For me, it was never the fact that I didn't think Jericho could go or that I didn't like his mic skills or none of that. I still love Jericho. And we know you're going on your world tour. We are going. AEW's gonna miss you. Mm-hmm. We can't wait till you get back. But it was just for me. It was always. I talked about it at length. For me, it was always about let's build the new guy. Let's push that. I've always been about pushing the next big thing.
You know damn well if he has 2 or 3 days off around a Wednesday, he's going to show up at Dynamite, hang out with his guys, give us all the cheap pop that we want.
I guess I'm kind of like John Gruden in the sense how he's kind of like my favorite quarterback's the Nets quarterback. It's kind of how I am. Yep. Like my favorite guy's the Nets guy. Let's build the next big thing. So.
And I understand that, but I think, and I've said this all along, this is what you needed. You needed a guy to legitimize the belt, and that's why, for how much... Oh, God, I hate to say this. I actually kind of do like Adam Page. Don't quote me on that.
Did you hear it?
Oh, God.
I'm going to, repeat that at the end of this video multiple times.
So for how much I do kind of like him, it needed to be Jericho. It needed to be a guy, because this is the other thing. Moxley coming over to AEW, yes, us hardcore fans know who Jon Moxley is. Some casual fans maybe don't.
I feel like everyone knows who Dean Ambrose is, though. And it was promoted everywhere as soon as he came out. He made it. He wanted to make sure that for that reason, as soon as he got released, it was on his Twitter, I am Jon Moxley. So, I don't think it's would people know who he is the factor, because he's one of the biggest. He's in the Shield. He's one of the biggest stars in the world.
But that's the thing.
it's not like a Luke Harper coming over and we going, Who?
Same thing. Like you probably could have strapped the title on Pac. That could have legitimized it, especially after his undefeated reign in Dragon Gate.
Yes, the
The undefeated Dragon Gate streak where
I can't say that with a straight
that just effed us all out of a couple good matches in AEW.
Yeah, still quite haven't forgiven. I don't think I'll ever forgive Dragon Gate for that.
Yeah, me either. But to strap you could have probably strapped the belt on him and legitimized things. But
no, I do, looking back on it, like, I don't, while I was very critical of it, I do appreciate what Jericho did for AEW behind the scenes and in the ring and on the mic. And I also, like, if it was leading to where it did, it being the match with Jon Moxley to finally lose, like, it all worked out. Like, it was the way it needed to be. So I'm appreciative. Thank you, Jericho. Can't wait to see you back after your tour. Hope it goes well.
Lord knows it will. God, I love you, Fozzy.
Yeah, and Moxley, super excited to see how your reign goes. I can't wait to see you do big, fantastic things in the future. Can't wait to see who you're going to fight. I mean, we already got, after the pay-per-view, what it could be.
So, before we talk about that, I do want to say one thing that is super important about Chris Jericho's reign here. When this all goes down, AEW is going to wind up, regardless of what happens from here on out, as one of the 3 biggest promotions in wrestling history. Jericho is the only man to have held the title in WCW, WWE, and AEW. Only man.
Didn't hold it in Impact.
He beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night, ladies and gentlemen. So
yes, no, Jericho is going to, if
that has a huge impact.
If AEW becomes the company that it's supposed to become and it doesn't, go by the wayside as other companies in the past have, then yes, it will be. It's going to be huge for Jericho's legacy, and it will also be huge for AEW.
Yep.
So
this man was a world champion everywhere he went.
Yes, so that is cool. Great for Jericho.
So we do get in the media scrum after the match.
Yes, Jon Moxley coming out and saying, "F the stipulation."
Cody Rhodes, you think you can actually beat me? I'll waive your non-compete. I'm the champion. I'm the one who gets to decide if you actually get to face me. Any champion could waive that. And you know what? If you think that you could actually beat me, take me on.
So, and me and you talked about this. I like it, but I don't like it right now.
Right.
I think you could have waited more than right after.
And they still might, because this might just be a teaser to show that it's possible.
No. I'm not even saying about the teaser. I'm saying you could have just like for a period. You could have this would have been something I would have loved to have him be like, okay, like maybe a couple months on the line, go, I've beaten everybody. F it, Cody Rhodes. It's me and you, brother.
But my favorite thing about this whole bit is that Moxley is literally just saying up front,
yeah,
I don't want anything to delegitimize my title. Oh, well, you were only champion because Cody couldn't be. No. I offered Cody a match. I told him I'd waive the stipulation. I'd beat Cody Rhodes too.
Yeah, that is one of the positives. Like, I mean, while with that, yeah, you could also wait a little bit, but that is one of the positives of this, is that you're basically going out the gate. I'll take on anybody. I don't care.
What was it Paul Heyman said about John Cena? You were only champion because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not going to have that problem because he's going to say, I offered it to anybody. I said I'd take on anybody, and I did.
Yeah. So that is really cool. So yeah, maybe Cody Moxley, maybe, don't know.
I think we start out with something else.
I
don't know what.
I don't think we're going to get it out the gate. I hope we don't get it out the gate, but it's a maybe.
Oh,
it's a maybe.
Man, you made me just think about this. We're probably going to get Lance Archer first, which I don't dislike. Archer and Moxley put on great matches.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know.
Really? Especially, well, also, you have to take into account, too, also, is that there is a ranking system in AEW. So if Archer somehow shoots to the top, that just doesn't make sense.
Well, they have a month to find out who their opponent is, so they probably have 3 weeks before they decide the number one contender.
Well, yeah, but whoever was in second or third place already has matches that are above that Lance Archer coming in. So unless he goes on like an undefeated streak,
Right.
like,
Well, if he goes 3-0 and in the last match he beats the number one contender, chances are he becomes number one contender.
which please don't do that.
I mean, AEW a good way to get Archer over with the company, introduce him to the fans.
We'd have to look at who is on near the top of the rankings right now and see who they've got potentially in line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know who was after Moxley. Like
Pac was.
Yeah,
was.
had to have been Pac, right? Because
now it might be Kenny.
yeah, well,
Kenny
what
three
was,
belts?
Yeah, but what was the last singles match before Pac
Who
for Kenny? What was the last match before? Because you have to take a. Oh yeah, he beat Pac, so that probably suits him up. But what was the last match before that? Because I think he had lost before.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So after Pac, I don't even know who like. So I don't know. We're definitely gonna have to look that up, and that's something that we can talk about probably on the next video. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up because we are getting kind of long-winded here, and we do need to at least watch Monday Night Raw tonight.
Oh, do we really have to?
Yeah, we do.
So first off, kind of like a huge thank you to Taz.
Yes.
Taz, you did a really great job play-by-play on commentary. And we talked about, between us, that Taz has never really been a play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
But he sounds awesome in the play-by-play spot.
Oh, he was better than I thought he was going to be. He was amazing. Big shout-outs to Taz. Big shout-outs to Chicago for being one of the hottest. I didn't think anything was going to top Portland, but Chicago.
You never let down, though, Chicago.
No, Chicago is always on point. I also want to give a shout-out to AEW for just never missing. They don't miss! Seriously, you guys, every show, just always on point, giving us some of the best high-octane action in the business. You and NXT, I say it every time I can. I scream it to the heavens. You and NXT are going to be the future of this business. I just seeing the collective brains of AEW go essentially head-to-head with Triple H every week is just doing nothing but grow the business.
We did neglect a couple things, and I'm going to just touch on them very quickly.
Right.
So, another thing that happened in the media scrum afterwards, they were talking to Tony Khan, first asked him about Cody's tattoo.
Yep.
And then they said, can you comment on the contract status of Matt Hardy?
Yes.
I can't comment on that.
Yep.
It was after midnight, so technically you could have commented on it unless you had something going on.
And by the way, speaking of one Matthew Hardy,
That was the next thing I was getting to. You go ahead.
so if you've been keeping up with Matt Hardy's YouTube channel, and
Which you should be.
there was a video set to premiere last night.
Thoughts from the Throne
Well,
26.
Last night. Today is Monday.
Midnight.
So that would have been Sunday at midnight. Matt Hardy premiered a video on his YouTube channel talking about the contract negotiations with World Wrestling Entertainment.
Are over. I have decided as of 3/2/20 that I will become a free agent.
Now, Matt went on to overly thank and,
Well, and he has huge respect for
he
Vince.
loves WWE.
And he's even said, I plan to go back, whether that be in a wrestling capacity or a backstage capacity, once this run is over.
And he even said, too, that he was considering all options. He talked about, how he feels like this is the best for his career. He said he probably has maybe only 4 or 5 more years left, and that he wants to have not full control, but he wants to be able to, take control of his destiny, and creatively, they just weren't on the same page. But when he talked about his options, he did mention WWE and NXT still.
Yep. He said, I'm not going to just pretend like they're not an option, because they are. But I'm going to weigh all of my options.
Yes.
Because what I want is my career to be remembered not just by V1 or by the Team Extreme Matt Hardy.
Or even by Broken.
I want the last 3 or 4 years of my career to be what defines my career.
Yes. So he
And
went
he
on.
said, I don't think that I can find that in my current surroundings.
So he went on to talk about how he's going to take a look on Monday night. He's going to take a look at Raw. He's going to look at on Wednesdays. He's going to look at AEW and NXT. Friday nights he's going to look at SmackDown and Ring of Honor.
Keep up with Ring of Honor, New Japan, MLW, NWA. NWA's been pretty big lately, dude. Yeah. Get on the train with indie wrestling.
For someone who wants to, make an impact for the last 5 years, you go to NWA, your career's dead. Sorry, but it's over.
Probably, yeah.
Same thing. I could probably say the same thing about like a New Japan or a
MLW
or an MLW. The only reason I can't say it about Impact is because when the cupboard was bare last time you were there, you put the company on your back. So maybe
I could see Ring of Honor working because they've been really hot since Marty Scurll took over as one of the executive creative directors.
Yes,
and I could see New Japan working, but not as well as anything else.
So
really,
we're getting. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so we're getting close. It's
the Exalted One is near.
We have to wait at the least a week to know what's going to happen. He says he's going to take this week, so we have to wait at least this week to find out where he's going.
We do get a teaser today. Being the Elite dropped today, and the very last scene from Being the Elite, Matt Jackson gets a call from a 910 area code. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the 910 area code is Cameron, North Carolina, where the Hardy compound is located. And he says, wow, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on?
So, yeah, like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see. We're all excited to see where Matt Hardy lands. So.
And no matter where you land, Matt, know that everyone supports your decision.
Yes.
We all love you. We all love the characters that you have created. We all support your decision no matter where you wind up, even if it's back with WWE.
God, I mean, if you're going to go back to WWE, at least go to NXT,
yeah.
Please. But we do need to wrap things up here. Like I said, we do need to watch Raw at the very least tonight. So that was your AEW Revolution review. And all I got to say was this pay-per-view was everything and more that we expected it was going to be. One of the best shows of the year so far. Thank you. Round of applause to AEW and all the talent, all the producers, everyone. You guys did an amazing job. And also, shout out again to you guys for supporting our channel. We're now at 21 subscribers.
Well, this is where I'd like to have a second to just talk into the camera. Can I have just a minute?
Yeah, you don't got long, so.
Okay. Hi, friends. There's 21 of you who now subscribe to us, and probably 2 of them are myself and him.
I'm not subscribed to us.
Yikes.
With what channel?
Fair. If you are subscribed to us and you do not like, share, comment on our videos, you're not a part of the revolution. You're just a viewer. You know what? If I have to turn heel here, I will. We are trying to grow a worldwide wrestling podcast. And we have. We have a listener in Japan and a listener in Egypt. We love you guys. But there are 21 of you on our YouTube channel currently who follow our every move. We need your support. We need your help to grow this channel into what it can be.
Yes.
The 2 of us know that we can become one of the top wrestling podcasts and wrestling review channels in the world.
But we can't do it without you guys.
We need every single one of you. And if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, you're not even...
even if you're not watching, if you're listening on Spotify,
iTunes or Google Play,
if you're not following us on any of those platforms, then you're just as bad.
We need your support to make this work.
We can do it, guys. I have full support in us, but I just know we just need your help. We got to do it. If we're going to grow this revolution, it's got to be all of us doing it together.
We're not asking for money.
No.
We're not asking for a whole lot.
We're asking for, on the Twitter machines and on the Facebooks, a couple likes and shares.
Instagram, Reddit. I mean,
if you do that,
whatever you need to do to get the word out there, just tell your friends. If you're a wrestling fan and you have one friend who's a wrestling fan, say, hey, these are the guys to watch. And if we're not, tell us why we're not and help us fix it.
Yeah. So we're gonna like I said,
sorry,
we gotta go ahead and wrap things up. So
live from Studio 6.
From Studio 6. I am your Revolution Pro Wrestling Podcast champion for the foreseeable future.
And I am better than you and you know it. Wait, sorry, wrong guy.
Just not at giving predictions, right?
Well, hey, Elimination Chamber's coming up.
Yeah, by the way, here's how this works. This title is defended from now on at every pay-per-view.
Single pay-per-view.
Not just AEW, not just NXT, but every single pay-per-view.
This was just the first one that we had time to actually do predictions for.
Exactly. So, I'm gonna hold on to this
for a week and a half
while I can.
2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that is AEW Blood and Guts, and there's NXT UK Takeover Dublin somewhere in there, and then right after that it's Mania and Takeover Tampa.
It would make my title reign just all the more sweeter if I just get back-to-back victories.
Or there could be 5 title changes within the next month and a half.
So yes, I am your Revolution champion, Marcus White.
And I am the next Revolution World Champion, Nick Cavalli. We welcome you, as always, to join the Revolution. Have a good night, guys.
Have a great night.
Lord knows I can't, because I'll be watching Raw.
The champ is